Hey, good day. Welcome to another episode of Robert Report. I'm your host, Robert BOBTV Brown. How you doing today? Well, Bernie Sanders do what Bernie Sanders does so well, and that is go out and fight for working people. And he recently went to Walmart, went to the board meeting of Walmart, and began to declare his stance for a livable wage for all the workers in Walmart. Not only that, he began to push that Walmart allow workers to sit on their board. Not only do workers get opportunity to become shareholders, because most of the workers are considered associates and they try to give them shares of stocks, which are very expensive. And majority of the workers don't have an option to vote in the shareholders meeting because they don't have enough stock, but they do offer stock option. Same thing with Amazon, they offer stock options to their workers. Problem is the stocks are expensive, and in order for you to get an opportunity to vote in a meeting, you got to have a certain amount of shares of stock. So Bernie Sanders go to Walmart, and he began to talk about this situation at Walmart and how to better the situation at Walmart. Bernie Sanders at Walmart shareholders meeting, the largest company in America should not pay starvation wages. Senator Bernie Sanders proposed an increase in Walmart's minimum wage and to add hourly employees to the board of directors at the company annual shareholders meeting. Sanders began his monologue, and this is what he had to say.
Senator Sanders, you have 3 minutes.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And let me thank Walmart employee Kat Davis for introducing this resolution. And it states, and I quote, "Resolved, shareholders of Walmart urge the board to adopt a policy of promoting significant representation of employee perspectives among corporate decision makers by requiring that the initial list of candidates from which new nominees are chosen by the Nominating and Governance Committee include hourly associates. The policy should provide that any third-party consultant asked to furnish an initial list will be requested to include such candidates." End of quote, end of resolution. Madam Chair, the issue that we are dealing with today is pretty simple. Walmart is the largest private employer in America and is owned by the Walton family, the wealthiest family in the United States, worth approximately $175 billion. And yet, despite the incredible wealth of its owner, Walmart pays many of its employees starvation wages, wages that are so low that many of these employees are forced to rely on government programs like food stamps, Medicaid, and public housing in order to survive. Frankly, the American people are sick and tired of subsidizing the greed of some of the largest and most profitable corporations in this country. They are also outraged by the grotesque level of income and wealth inequality in America, as demonstrated by the CEO of Walmart making 1,000 times more than the average Walmart employee. Last year, Walmart made nearly $10 billion in profit. It paid its CEO over $20 million in compensation, and it has authorized $20 billion in stock buybacks, which will benefit its wealthiest stockholders. Surely, with all of that, Walmart can afford to pay its employees a living wage of at least $15 an hour. And that is not a radical idea, because many of Walmart's major competitors like Amazon, Costco, and Target have already moved in that direction. Further, Walmart should give a voice to its workers by allowing them seats on the board of directors. The concerns of workers, not just stockholders, should be part of board decisions. Today, with the passage of this resolution, Walmart can strike a blow against corporate greed and a grotesque level of income and wealth inequality that exists in our country. Please do the right thing. Please pass this resolution. Thank you very much.
All right, there you go. Bernie Sanders goes to Walmart board meeting, stockholders meeting, and begin to declare some things that must be done. He has a resolution. The workers have a resolution, and he's pushing for them to be able to get that resolution passed. A couple of things about Walmart. Walmart has done a lot for working people, for its charitable organizations. They do employ a lot of minorities. And the problem is, a lot of them work part-time, they don't work full-time. They consider them shareholders, which means they shouldn't, they give them limited shareholder power. In other words, you're a shareholder, which exempt you from making any decisions on an upper level, but yet you can't move us to make decisions because of you, because you're part of the company. You're an investor, so to speak. You're not just a worker. That's why they call them Walmart associates instead of, it's like being a part of a networking company. You become what they call an independent contractor or associate. But here at Walmart, you're not independent. Two things Bernie said. Now, like you all know, I have a lot of issues with Bernie Sanders, but I got a lot of issues with my family member too. We don't agree, but we agree to disagree, and you're not going to be getting me to hate you. I don't hate Bernie Sanders. I don't like his I like his policies. I hate his decisions in the past. I'm hating some of the decisions that he's making now, but overall decisions that he's making, I like. I like when you go out there and campaign for all working people. Yet, I still have my personal position that you need to go a little stronger when it comes to my people who have been phased out for too long. And this is my problem with Bernie Sanders. My other problem with Bernie Sanders is being silent when it comes to democracy, rigging the elections. That's another pet peeve that I got with Bernie Sanders. And last but not least, Bernie Sanders is going to continue to kiss up and suck up and fall to the knees of the Democratic Party, which is a problem. He is not a revolutionary. A revolutionary will rather die by the sword than become captured. And become not only captured, but let them indoctrinate you to be like them. So those are my few issues with Bernie Sanders. But the issues that I agree with Bernie Sanders is this. He's been a long time advocate for working people. He's always been that. Can't take that away. He's advocated for minorities. Can't take that away from them. Yet, again, he has some policies that really decimated minorities, especially black people. But as he began to progress in Congress, he began to change in some areas. And I'm always open for people to change because I've changed in a lot of areas. I was real hard-nosed about a lot of issues, but I've changed on some issues. And I've grown. Second thing about what Bernie Sanders is proposing, which is huge, is workers being on the board of Walmart. Now, that could be a catch-22 because you got workers who may end up being a kiss-up to the corporate complex, kiss up to Walmart instead of being there on behalf of the workers. Now, I believe there should be people on the board of Walmart because workers make up a huge aspect of Walmart's success. Walmart cannot be Walmart without a Walmart associate. The moment you walk in, you're greeted, and the rest of the time, you're having that family reaction with Walmart. One of the places to go to after church, even after the club, is the 24-hour Walmart. Throw in an IHOP here and there, or a Waffle House, or it is what it is. The workers are generally there to make you feel home. And you even feel home because you know most of those workers live in your neighborhood. That's Walmart's success. They've negotiated the fact that you don't have to pay all that money for a certain brand. We contracted and we purchase companies where you can get just as good as products as a higher price product and save you money. So their business model is great. Their relationship model with their workers suck. And that needs to be fixed. So one thing Bernie Sanders did, he proposed that workers should sit on the board. Now, who should sit on that board? Well, majority, just like a union, you have to vote people in to sit on that board, because the majority of the people have to be have to trust you to sit on that board and that you're going to fight for them. For an example, see this TWU shirt. I represented TWU in my former job. I was a shop steward, okay, and I was part of the negotiation team fighting for more better benefits and more pay for the workers on my job, which we were successful on the first contract. Found a way to get rid of me because the next contract is coming, but don't think you got rid of me. I know y'all watch this. Don't think you got rid of me. I will be involved some way, somehow, in the next negotiation. Now, mind you, I'll be starting working with another union, and I'm going to give them my full attention too. And I'll be there up until this grow, and I don't have to work for any union at all. Or I may do it side by side, you know, so. The former president of the local 100, this one, he ended up taking over the international of the union. John Samuelson, fighter. He'll go after you. He don't take no stuff. New York City has a board called the MTA board, the Metropolitan Transit Authority Board. It's a board of contractors and executives that makes the decision concerning traveling in New York City by public transportation. Well, for so long, the working man was not able to participate on that board. Sure, they had a board meeting, just like Walmart did, where you can come in for a few minutes and stake your case to the board and hoping that they'll take up what they just heard from you and making a mandate with the issues of Metropolitan Transit Authority. But they went further. They allowed John Samuelson to sit on that board because John Samuelson represents 40,000 workers. And John Samuelson don't, as far as I see, have not looked like he kissed any behind to be on that board. John Samuelson has a powerful seat on that board because here in New York, we're union town. We're workers' right town. We're not a right to work. And any person who come here and think that they're gonna use right to work policies here in New York will get shut down. You probably still have a little bit, but it'll be limited, and we're gonna work hard to eliminate all of them. So now you have a man that represents 40,000 workers that if he want to, just like that, he can shut the city down. That's the kind of power that that person need to have on that board. Because currently right now, Walmart is very slick on where they put their Walmarts. They don't want to put it in a place where unions can be organized. They don't want their workers organizing against them. When the workers are not really organizing against them, they're really just organizing for themselves so they can have better. They love Walmart. They just don't like the way Walmart treats them. Walmart don't see the value, the true value of its workers. If they did, they would have paid them at least $15 minimum wage. They would have made sure they had full coverage of benefits. And they will be able to offer them more stock options, buy back a lot and offer it, you know, they got that tax break. They should have been able to buy back a lot of the stock and offer it to the workers instead of keeping it to themselves. That's why you need to have people on the corporate board of Walmart or any other company, Amazon, or any other company. Well, Bernie Sanders is calling for that. So not only did he went to Walmart, get in their face, he called for that. And he made a demand for that. And this is what I can say about Bernie Sanders when it comes to him being the legislator. Forget the president. As a legislator, he's gotten more done in a few years than most of these people who's legislating, including Joe Biden. Joe Biden have not done made nowhere near an impact between companies and workers than Bernie Sanders. None of them. Hillary Clinton been on the board of Walmart for umpteen years and never made a demand like that. No, she was collecting her check. They're worth almost $200 million. They got shares in Walmart. I don't know if she sold them, but they did have it. So the bottom line is Bernie Sanders do what Bernie Sanders do. And even though I have my disagreements with them, I will always give you props. When you do something good, I'm going to give you a thumbs up. I don't have to agree with you. I don't have to be on your side. I don't have to be a supporter. But when you do right by working people, I'm going to give you your props. It doesn't matter who you are. And that's that. So one more video I want to show. Hopefully they're going to be pressured and they're going to get what they want. The workers going to get the benefits that they need, and they'll be able to sit on a board. Sitting on a board is huge. That should happen at any company, especially contractor company that comes in and take over an area. Walmart, when they come in town, they shut stuff down. The local pharmacy gets shut down. You know, the local pet store gets shut down. The local garage get shut down because Walmart has some garages. The local gas station gets shut down because Walmart contracted with Murray's to offer gas. You know, the local tire store gets shut down because they got tires. Walmart got it all. So when they come in your town, it cripples that town. Bad enough they got to deal with all these other companies, Amazon and all that, just survive. If you go to your local town, man, businesses are shutting down left and right. Unless it's a local business that's going to thrive because of the people going to come there, they're doomed.
Bernie Sanders usually hammers corporate America, specifically Walmart, on the campaign trail.
We will say to the Walton family, we are no longer going to provide corporate welfare for you.
Today, he took that message straight to Walmart shareholders in Arkansas.
Walmart pays many of its employees starvation wages.
Sanders invited by a Walmart employee to make the case to have hourly workers on the company's board. During his remarks, he also demanded Walmart pay its workers a base wage of $15 an hour and called out the company's CEO, Doug McMillon, for his $24 million salary.
They are also outraged by the grotesque level of income and wealth inequality in America.
The company defended its treatment of its employees by pointing to Walmart's tuition assistance and management training programs, and in a surprise, McMillon called for the federal minimum wage to go up.
$7.25 is too low. It's time for Congress to put a thoughtful plan in place to increase the minimum wage.
Dreama Lovett works as a Walmart associate in Jacksonville, Florida, and welcomed Sanders' presence at the meeting.
He's for the working people, and he speaks for the working people.
Lovett believes an employee on the board would go a long way to helping Walmart leadership understand what it really means to live on Walmart's minimum wage.
Could you live off of $11 and something an hour? It's hard. It's hard, especially in our economy. It's up and we're booming.
The proposal to add an employee to Walmart's board was rejected by shareholders.
People cannot make it on $11 an hour.
And the company also did not make a substantive move toward raising employee salaries. And after his remarks, Sanders was skeptical Walmart leadership was listening. Do you feel that the Walmart CEO...
I just warn you, Ryan, we've had Basil on before, and we've actually been able to talk civilly, and actually, I think if we were in Washington, we might actually be able to do something.
Done, yeah.
Yeah, so don't. But then again, I read Basil's notes, and I do have a problem with some of what we're saying about it. And I'm just going to start, and you tell me whether I'm wrong, Ryan. Basil, let's say that we don't view corporations necessarily as adversaries, but as the people that act, or as the entities that actually create the jobs, so that we have policies that try to make it a positive environment for businesses. They do better. They're able to raise wages organically, like a Walmart or like some of these, so that the $7 federal minimum wage is almost antiquated. It's so far below where market forces in a strong economy have put wages that it's kind of taking care of itself. Do we really need wage controls to make things better?
Well, I think what Democrats, in particular Bernie Sanders, are saying is that we have to find ways to protect the worker. If you look at what the Trump administration has done in terms of rolling back protections for the LGBTQ community, overtime pay is being reduced, wages are being pushed down in the Trump administration. And you look at the Supreme Court's decision in Janus. What Democrats are saying is, if we have an economy that's largely on demand, that's sort of the gig economy, how else do we protect workers, especially when individual states are pulling back on collective bargaining.
There are people
What about where are wages being pushed down? I'm sorry.
Well, I think what the argument is that the Trump administration is finding ways to not increase the minimum wage and to find ways that to disincentivize companies from.
Wages have been going up in every.
Well, they've been going up slightly. They've been going up slightly, not
doesn't protecting
substantially.
workers mean protecting jobs? And it's been seen if you go too far on mandating higher wages, the entry-level positions that go away, and it's said a lot of time.
Now, let me go back to this. She said wages are going up. Wages are going up because of the demand to bring them up. It's not going up because they just want to pay you more money. It's being brought up because there's been political pressure to make sure they go up. People are not really buying into the economy like they really could buy into the economy. The less money you have, the less money you'll be able to spend on things to enjoy. You're barely keeping your head above water with the money that you have. You're barely able to pay rent. You're barely able to pay for transportation. You don't have the extra money to do what you want to do, and that's live a sustainable life with you, your lady, or your man, or have a family. Can you imagine the amount of people right now that's in their mid-30s to 45 that don't have a family because they're not in the position to give their family what they really need? Because of this economy. Back about 15, 20 years ago, let's say back in the 90s, economy was good, people was making money. I mean, say what you want about Bill Clinton, the economy was good, okay? And that was because of the strategies of Robert Reich, the economic secretary. And he made it easy for, man, people were making money hand off a foot, man. Well, and now there was a gig economy back then. It wasn't legal gig economy, but there was a gig economy. People was hustling, making money, man, from selling tapes out the trunk, to selling dope on the street, to selling clothes, you name it, bootleg, whatever. People was making money, and they was taking that money, pouring it into the economy, and the economy was good. Whether it was legally or illegally, the money was going into the economy. Right now, things are not the same. Gig economy is taking over. Most people are becoming independent contractor, independent workers, people who work for Uber and Lyft and things like that, or Postmates. They're independent. They don't make hourly wages. Their work is based on point-to-point business. That's why it's important. So if you ever hear a Republican use this talking point called wages going up, wages are going up because of the political pressure on states to bring the wage, to put a minimum wage out there. The reason a lot of companies are beginning to give you a little bit more wages is because they believe you're going to shut up about getting a decent, livable wage. Always remember this, companies are not trying to give you a livable wage for free. You have to demand it. You have to apply the political pressure in order to get, in other words, you got to pay the price to get what you want. They're not going to give you anything. Companies, all they care about majority of the time is their bottom line, including Walmart. And I'm sorry I had to stop it on this point, but their points up here are mute. Wages are increasing. Wages are increasing because people are putting political pressures on the politicians, who putting the political pressures on the lobbyists that you need to move your wages up, putting the pressures on the governors, putting the pressures on the mayors to move the wages up, or else. Let's keep going.
If 2 million workers get $1 or $2 increase, but 500,000 workers go down to zero because there's not jobs, that's not protecting.
But listen, I understand the concern. Look,
they always say that. How is thousands of people going to go down to zero? You're not going out of business. Walmart made billions in profit. They met their margin, their normal margins. They made $30 billion in profit. Profit. $5 billion in profit is huge. No, they made $30 billion. Walmart the Walton family don't need any more money. They loaded. The CEO of Walmart is loaded. So what is happening with those extra money? Is it building more Walmarts? It don't cost that much to build more Walmarts. Walmarts are everywhere. Everywhere. So they accomplished their goal. What, you gonna build a Walmart on the moon? So where's this money going? It's stockpiled in the Walmart fortune, in the Walton fortune. It's not going back to the people. And what Bernie Sanders and other people are really saying is, look, you need to take some of that money and invest it in the workers. You got profit. You didn't get that profit on your own. It's your workers and the environment they set at Walmart that help you get that profit. Yeah, you're neglecting them. Throwing them a little stock option, hoping they'd shut up. Probably pay them an extra $1 just to shut up. Yet they're making you richer than rich. And you can't take a percentage of the profit and give it back to the people. Yet, those same people who you're afraid to give an extra minimum wage, they're paying taxes and you getting a tax break off of it. So you're the pimp. You're the welfare queen. Walmart, Amazon, all these major companies, they're the biggest welfare recipients of all times. All right, let me get back to this.
I'm a New Yorker. I notice and read all these stories about how restaurants, for example, having to close because of $15 minimum wage. Right. I have a friend that owned a restaurant here in the city for 15 years, and he would say that he had to close in part because of the minimum wage increase in paid family leave. So I understand.
Now, let me stop there. Most of these restaurants don't have to close because of 15 minimum wage. They decide to close. They decided to close. I don't understand this. If you saw in your book of business last year that you profited, let's say the average restaurant owner probably bring in $250,000, let's say $300,000 a year in profit for your regular family-owned business, and your expenses is and what you spend running this restaurant, let's say $200,000, you still made $150,000 in profit. Now your expenses at home didn't change unless you wanted to be richer and unless you up your level of living because of your business. So your business is doing making major profit. So now you and your wife get to up your level of living, move out of that apartment into a big house, go on a couple more vacations a year while your workers is busting their behind and they're not getting a lift. You took the profit and lifted up your family, but you can't take the profit and lift up your family, and you'd rather shut down your business and move somewhere where you can continue to lift up you and your family and not lift up the other workers' family? Get out of here. That's not right. Not that many businesses in New York City is closing down because the minimum wage went up. You want to know why? Because those same people making that minimum wage, $15 minimum wage, they going to eat in that same restaurant, spending more money in that same restaurant, and they sitting up there lying to you. There's no evidence saying that this made it really happen. That $15 an hour minimum wage drove that business out of business. No. If your business went out of business because of how you're running it, and it's going to happen anyway, I don't care if you pay $20. If you're serving nasty food and you got nasty customer service and you got workers that's stressed out because they can't afford to pay their bills, but yet they got to deal with these people coming to the restaurant, your business is going to close. It ain't the money all the time. But I tell you what, you give them the money that they need and make sure they got some benefits, then they can live happily. I'm telling you two things that make everything a little bit more better in New York. Because $15 minimum wage, that's nothing. It's too high to live in New York. $15 minimum wage is nothing. $15 minimum wage is what $7.25 is to most other cities. But if you give them a livable wage, as Nomiki Khan said, $20 an hour, and you pass single-payer health care, because most of our money is going toward our medical care. If you just give us that and work on rent controlling, New York will be all right. New York will be all right. We'll have the extra money to pay for high behind Metro card. If you just eliminated that, allow me to go to school, no cost. Minimum wage, $20 an hour. Because that's what it really should be in New York City. Make it where I don't have to pay a medical bill. I just take a little bit out of my money every month into the system, and I get free medical services at point of service. That will make life better. So in other words, you got to have something. There's a combination of things you got to have to really breathe. And this is one. So this discussion that they're talking about, all these businesses shutting down because of $15 an hour, you go look at this study again. Your business shutting down is because your business suck. I mean, you can't pay your worker extra $2, $3 more an hour. What's that? $3 an hour? I mean, $20 a day. You can't pay your workers an extra $20 a day. So they were making $75 a day at your restaurant, and now it's $95 a day. That's too much for you? Let me keep going.
Stand the tension there, but I think the Democrats need to trying to reaffirm this connection to the worker.
Hey, Ryan, if I just let myself totally go, I kind of agree with you on a lot of this stuff. An employer's responsibility is to pay employees for the work they do, not to ensure they have some type of societally agreed upon level of livable household income. Does that sum things up for Cato?
Well, to a certain extent,
all right, so whoever made that statement is an idiot. No, you got to pay them the amount of money based on your profit. I'm going to go over a study on where we would be today if the rate of profitability in major corporations, the way it has gone up since Obama put in certain legislation, not Trump, Obama, the rate they profited, the minimum wage should have been going along right along with that profit margin. So whatever the profit margin for a corporation, the same should have been with the margin of wages with the workers. But no, they want to make all this money and keep the workers at the bottom. So whoever made that idiot statement need to be taken out to the doggone field and slapped. I don't promote violence like that, but he need to be slapped. That statement had to come from some arrogant oligarch, nasty, bougie, wealthy, rich person that looks at his workers as peons, look at his workers as machinery, or you're a horse to them. All you are is a workhorse. You go in there and eat that hay I gave you and go to sleep. That's all I'm giving you.
the debate we've had so far is a bit of a misnomer because, of course, lots of states, local governments and city governments have been raising their own minimum wages. So if you take into consideration the populations that fall under those remits, already the effective minimum wage across the country is almost $12 an hour.
Yeah, but you didn't support that either, just so we're on the same page.
No, but to the extent that you have minimum wages, it makes more sense for them to be set at a local level where policymakers hopefully take into consideration the local labour market conditions. But look, you're right on an essential point. Ultimately, in the long term, wages are determined by productivity. And if you try and push up wage floors too high and don't take account of employers' ability to pay and people's productiveness, particularly in the grocery sector, which is a very low productivity sector, sadly,
then what you do is... number?
Wow, I thought I was going to hear the end of that.
Sorry, then what you do is employers have to adjust in some way, and that might mean laying off workers, it might mean cutting hours, it might mean cutting other perks and benefits, or it may well mean investing in labour-saving technologies. One of the reasons I think why Walmart are more amenable to a federal increase in the minimum wage than other companies is because I think they think as a big company, you know, with sophisticated logistics, they'd be much better to deal with it than perhaps some of their smaller upstart competitors.
Yeah. Actually, I actually agree with that. And going to Ryan's point about what states are doing, remember back in 2016, Hillary Clinton was advocating for a $12 minimum wage in part because she realized that not all companies are going to be able to get to 15 and that individual states might not be able to get to 15 that quickly. So let's do this on a more gradual basis.
The question is, but I think there's two issues.
Yeah.
There's a philosophical issue, which I think Basil would suggest that he just doesn't.
All right. I'm going to pause that here, and then I'm going to come back. But I will make a statement. Anytime a minimum wage is passed, it is progressive. It's not $15 right away. It'll move up marginally year by year. For an example, New York got minimum wage $15 an hour pretty much within the entire city by 2020. Like right now, the company I work for, the minimum wage is $15 an hour, but it wasn't the minimum wage. Well, it's the minimum wage, it's the law now in the city. Outside the city, it's not that. But it was a margin. It started out from 11 to $12.95 to $13.95 to $14.95 year by year by year. It's not a straight rollout of $15, it's marginal. So to roll out to $12 in 4 or 5 years is dumb, because the profit margin is going to go up and the cost of living is going to go up. And right now, if minimum wage was based on cost of living, New York would be over $20 an hour for minimum wage. Now I'm going to come back to that in a moment.
Doesn't want any minimum wage at all, I think, but maybe you can correct me if I'm wrong. And then there's a question of just what the number should be. What's the right number, both on a national basis and to the degree you want to do it on a state basis, right?
It's tougher.
I mean, that is tougher, because there are a lot of states that won't be able to get to 15, and there is a good argument for letting states.
So do you think it's a mistake then for Bernie Sanders to pursue $15 an hour across the board nationally?
I actually don't think it's a mistake. I actually think that should be the target.
But because of the reality of the math of it?
I think the politics of it is very strong at this point, quite frankly, because there are a lot of voters, Democrat or Republican, independent, that want us to get to $15.
Now, let me stop right here, because these talking heads in the financial sector, they're there for a reason. They're there to keep the money in the financial sector, not into the public sector. Not understanding that if you put more money in the public sector, it will enhance the financial sector. You look at the minimum wage at $7.25, and you look at wages, at $7.25 federally, and you looked at the amount of companies, small or big, how much profit they have made. The only companies that really suffered and end up closing down were because of companies like Walmart, because of companies like Amazon.com. It was not for the people, and it was not about the amount of money that they requested you paid. It's just that these major, the shift in the ability to purchase products have changed tremendously. You could do it from the comfort of your computer, the comfort of your phone. You don't have to go into a brick and mortar store and do this. And Walmart is shifting to that area now, because a lot of people are ordering their stuff on Walmart. Thank God they still have, people still like going to Walmart for the Walmart experience. That's the only reason why people go to Walmart. The prices are cheap. People still like to shop, and they still like to have that Walmart experience. Who wants to be in the house all the time? I still like going to a mall. I still like looking around, touching the clothes. I still like going to the counter and paying for my clothes. I like to go get something to eat at Walmart after I'm shopped. I like to go to a movie after I'm finished. I like this shopping experience. I don't like the online shopping experience. I only like it when I need something quick and convenient. But on the weekend, I want to go to the mall and hang out. Where kids gonna hang out? Back in the day, kids used to hang out in the mall. The malls are shutting down. So with the federal minimum wage at $7.25, Walmart is paying $11 an hour. Well, they should. That's the least they gotta pay. You're paying $11 an hour when you made over $30 billion in profit. It's not impressive. It's still a low ball. When you're in $30 billion in profit, you should be paying at least $15. Same thing with Target. Amazon is there. Target need to get there. The bottom line is this. Most brick and mortar companies don't have a bunch of employees. Let's say the average company, average local business, have about 5 workers. If they did go to $15 minimum wage, and the workers were making $7.25, that is double the money. But again, it's not a instant $15 an hour. It never have been. Amazon went instant $15 an hour because they have the profit margin to do it. Walmart can go $15 an hour because of the profit margin. But any small business, there have to be a phase in as people get that little extra money and they go back into that community and put money in that community, then that business will be able to gradually increase to go along with the phasing of the minimum wage. Most states that propose minimum wage, when it gets approved, it goes through phases, usually 3 to 5 years in phases. You're not going to automatically get to $15 an hour, but that is the goal. Now, he asks, was this just political posturing? You could call it what it want. The bottom line is people are struggling knowing that everything else is going up but their wages. Well, wages are going up. It's not going up fast enough. You give somebody a 20-cent dollar wage, you can claim 20. You give somebody a 20-cent a 20-cent raise, you can claim that wage is going up. But when the bills are $5 more than normal, that 20 cent ain't gonna mean nothing. So let me keep going.
But it may be bad. But you recognize there might be an economic impact.
I do recognize that. There's as a Democrat, but also just as a person, as I said, that has seen how small businesses are impacted. I know that there's a reaction to it.
As a New Yorker, can we do a little hindsight now? Because a lot of these issues come into the Amazon decision to not come to New York. How are you feeling about that right now?
I'm okay with that. They're looking for space also elsewhere. I'm okay with that. People are always going to want to come to New York, right? Companies are always going to come to New York. So
now the person that's talking to this brother is the guy from Shark Tank. He's loaded. He already let you know from the show that he don't care. All he care about is his wallet, his bottom line. I mean, if he take on a company, you know, he's looking for a company that he want to put in his portfolio. That was the whole purpose of Shark Tank. He's going to try to buy them out. He's going to try to pretty much steal their idea. Well, not steal, but he want to buy out real quick something these people probably worked on 10 years to do. And eventually he's going to take the business model and get rid of them. He's a literal shark. And when you got sharks in environments like this, they're not going to say anything that's going to lift up people, even the people that's connected with their company.
Can we just, because you know this is a real issue for me.
Of course.
They want to come to New York City, Manhattan. Yeah. They want to come to Brooklyn. Yeah. They don't want to come to Long Island City. Let's just make a point.
I understand that. No, I understand that.
Jeff Bezos may be buying an apartment down here, and they may be building more real estate or buying more real estate for the company, but it is not in Long Island City. So Long Island City is going to still be the capital of taxicabs and parking lots.
That was 20,000.
And that to me is
no, I would disagree. If you look at where Long Island City is today versus where it was 10 years ago, 20 years ago,
off today?
It's a vastly different place.
20,000.
All right, I know from experience, Adam, whatever your name, I used to work in Long Island City. Long Island City is propping up, has become a place where there was hardly no building to high-rise apartments, and multi-corporationals are moving to Long Island City because the land is cheap and it's right on the east, off of the East River, the beautiful views. The place is booming. The rent is going up. It's not the land of taxis no more. Whoever these guys is, they probably never been there. Probably haven't been there in a while because they're too bougie to go. Bougie people don't go there. Unless they want to live there and get to work quicker in Manhattan, they'll move to Long Island City. Long Island City is not the same anymore. It is becoming a metropolis, a little mini version of Manhattan. That is what Long Island City is. And yeah, you may think Jeff Bezos want to go to Brooklyn. It doesn't matter where he want to go. He wants welfare for it. He don't want to pay for it. He want to continue to keep money in his pocket, so he can live the lifestyle he want to live and not give his workers what they deserve. So you numbnuts, don't be taking up for this but these are capitalists. They work for capitalists. Probably most of them don't have their own business. Adam do, I know that. But you're sitting up here running your mouth and not understanding your most valuable asset is your workers. It is not your products, it's your worker. If your workers are not doing whatever they can to push your products out there to society, you got nothing, because you're not going to make those things on your own. You're not going to get your dog, your wife, y'all not going to. You move beyond that. You probably started off that way, but now you got a bunch of workers. Now it's time to pay them.
Not to mention the fact that I would be very concerned of if my mayor and my governor didn't actually sit down with the community and talk to them about how Amazon being there was going to affect them positively. I'm not saying they shouldn't be there, which is a different argument. I'm not saying they shouldn't be there. What I'm saying is that if they're going to be there, you have a real discussion with the community about the impact. That didn't happen.
What kind of a message is that to other companies that may want to consider that jurisdiction? I don't think it's a positive one. You can't be happy.
All right. Mr. Rich Dude, that's those people communities. If you want to go into their community and begin to build, you're going to have to go through that community. And if their community say, hey, you come on over here to work here, you're going to pay for your own land, you're going to pay for your own helicopter pad, and you're going to pay the people that's possibly going to work for your company a decent wage. They have every right to say that. So why don't you take your Shark Tank, big old Shark Tank head, and let me be quiet.
The 20,000 jobs went to another geography.
I'm not saying that I'm happy with it. What I'm saying is that if you're going to do this and it has substantial impact on what's already there, let the community know that. That's all I'm saying.
Now, I agree with this brother, but back to Shark Tank dude. Two things that caused Jeff Bezos to decide to pull out of Long Island City. Number one, he don't want his people unionizing because he don't want his people coming together against him, telling him that you're not going to have full control over us. And you're not going to do whatever you want to do. No, 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 no. We're going to have a say-so. He don't want that for none of his companies. That's why he'll rather build his headquarters or his satellite places in rural areas where it's a right-to-work state. He don't want to do it in a workers' right state. He would love to do it. It makes him look good with a helicopter pad flying in to his corporate headquarters and make him look like a giant. But he don't want to do that because those people who are going to be working for him get an opportunity to organize. And believe me, the unions are there and they're going to push on Jeff Bezos. Number two, Jeff Bezos always want to get something for free. He want those people to pay for him to be there. You ought to be lucky to have me in there. I'm going to bring you jobs, so you pay me to bring jobs to your city. No, you can go on. We can use the job, but you ain't the only company going to come here. We're growing. We're growing before you came here. Our city development was not contemplated on you coming. You came to us. The city was growing before Jeff even thought about coming to Long Island City. But what Jeff want to do is he want to find out who's going to put up the most money to have him come and have his special company to be headquarters there, because I'm coming there to make your city look good, so you're going to have to pay me. That's what you call a whore. He's a whore. He's a corporate whore. Y'all going to pay me to come here. He's an escort. It's one thing bad. I pay $200-300 an hour for escort, and all I'm gonna get is a little kiss on the cheek. You better give me. You better come with it, girl. $300 an hour to eat dinner. I could have bought my dog. No. So look, let me tell you something. I'm spending that kind of money. I'm gonna get me an escort. I'm not gonna get a bougie escort just to make me look good. No, you're gonna be escorting me everywhere I need to go. And there's one place we're going later on during that day, later on that night. Let me keep going.
I'm not saying that businesses shouldn't be here. I'm actually a little more pro-business than maybe most of my party is at this point. But I also care about the labor force. I also care about organized labor quite very specifically. And I wanted my elected officials to actually have that discussion rather than just come to the community and say, look, we're going to bring this here. It's already a done deal. That's just not the way you do politics. And so it's not really a question about economics for me. It was more a question about the political process.
Ryan, you want to just finish up here? Comment on any of this? I don't know whether you want to comment on Amazon or in general.
Well, Bernie Sanders often says that if a company can't afford to pay a living wage, then perhaps, it shouldn't exist. And, there's a political choice here. You can go down the French model of the labour market where you say, actually, companies that don't pay a certain amount just shouldn't exist, and those jobs shouldn't exist. But the consequence of that is a 9% unemployment rate rather than the sub 4% unemployment rate that we currently enjoy in this booming economy today.
All right, so you got a bunch of money-hungry people on CNBC. They're just as bad as Fox Business. They're a poor corporation. They don't care now. Now, I applaud this brother. He cares about the working force, and I agree with this brother. If you're going to come into my community and build your corporate office, we would love nothing more than that. We would love to have more jobs to come here to lift up our community. But you're not going to come here and tell us what we got to do for you. We're already struggling, dude. We need your job. So why are you going to ask us to front the money to build? And it shouldn't be politicians' job to make that decision without the people. Again, this is why I hate politicians as politicians. We put you there. We voted you in, but you're going to do things because you figure you know better than us. Oh, we're going to have, by the way, just to let you know, we signed this deal. Amazon is going to be coming here, and they're going to build a corporate headquarters over here in this. But hold on, we got a reservoir close to that place, and we don't know what they're going to do. So how you just going to give them that, and how you just going to tell them that they can come here without confronting us? Okay? And what's in this deal? Scrap the whole deal. Come back another way. And that's what New York did. That's what Long Island City did. Scrap the whole deal. It's not that they don't want them to come. But if you're going to come through the community. You're not going to come through mayors and governors. You're going to come through the community. And these are the things the community is going to expect for you to do. Pay for your own land like any other person that come in this town. Build your own buildings. I mean, if you want to hire one of our business owners to help build it, you're going to pay them for it. You're not going to get it for free. And for as a helicopter pad, you got over $100 billion in your account. Buy your own helicopter pad and buy your own helicopter, and don't ask us to do it. And yeah, you're going to organize these people that's working for you, going to get organized. They're going to have some protection because we don't trust big money corporate capital. Alrighty. Well, according to Walmart CEO, calls for raising the federal minimum wage. The CEO of Walmart called for raising the federal minimum wage. So I guess this was at the board meeting. Walmart CEO Doug McMillon wants Congress to raise the minimum wage. He's pictured with his wife, Shelley, at the company annual meeting last year during the Walmart squiggly. Walmart Inc. CEO wants Congress to boost the federal minimum wage, a rare instance of the nation's biggest private employer demanding changes on a contentious issue about which it has long been polarized for its existence. The current $7.25 minimum wage is too low, Walmart Chief Executive Officer Doug McMillon said on Wednesday at the company annual meeting. It's time for Congress to put a thoughtful plan in place to boost it, McMillon said. You just saw that. Previously, McMillon expressed support for increasing the national minimum wage. But this is the first time in more than a decade a Walmart CEO has specifically demanded new legislation on the matter. In considering a change, McMillon said federal lawmakers should take into account cost of living increase to avoid unintended consequences. Now, they should. What they should do is go back to where all this profit margin increased and make sure the minimum wage is based on the cost of living for area along with the margin of profit increase. Whatever margin the company has gotten, that should be the margin of that worker. Specifically for big companies like Walmart. You work there, you should be paid a decent wage there. Walmart has raised its starting wage several times in recent years to the current $11 an hour, but that's still below rivals like Target Corporation and Costco Wholesale Corporation. Amazon said last year its lobbyists would start advocating for an increase in the federal minimum wage, which hasn't changed since 2009. It is clear by our action and those of other companies that the federal minimum wage is lagging behind. McMillon said before Walmart shareholders and employees annual meeting in Rogers, Arkansas. With 1.5 million employees in the United States, Walmart's stance on labor issues can often influence broader American workforce trends. It's usually for Walmart, which has weathered criticism for years over its treatment of workers, to wade into the broader national debate on stage. But it has been president, former CEO Lee Scott said in 2005 speech, the minimum wage then was out of date with the times, and said it's time for Congress to take a responsible look at the minimum wage. Now you can't tell me minimum wage been $7 an hour federally for probably over 20 years. Close to it. Yet Walmart keep getting billions and billions and billions and billions in profit. Nobody should have to tell them to pay their workers a livable wage. Walmart shouldn't have to wait till political pressure is applied on them. They shouldn't have to wait on the state. They should not have to wait on legislators to force them to do this when they can do it on their own and still profit, because majority of the people that work at Walmart or work in the area of Walmart, that profit that they're going to get, that increase in their pay, a lot of that is going to go into Walmart products back into the hands of Walmart. Now, I know this went a little long. I represent unions, man. I believe in workers' rights. I believe in workers having the ability to advocate for more for them and their family. I believe the workers should have a major role in a successful company because it was the worker that made them successful. It wasn't the product. It wasn't the brain of the shareholders. It wasn't the business model all the time. It was the workers. In Walmart cases, the workers, because Walmart is an experience. It's not just a business. You go to Walmart and it's family. It is your local store. It has replaced the grocery store, Mr. Bob's down the street, or IGA or whatever, Food Line. It replaced, even though those are still there, most people get their groceries from Walmart. People still buy their clothes from Walmart. People still go buy CDs and TVs and all that from Walmart. They buy the kids' toys from Walmart. Some places they go get their guns from Walmart. Some places still sell guns. Man, Walmart got some good, decent prices on food. Food here in New York City is totally different from the Walmart in Valley Stream. A cup of noodles costs over $1 here. I can get them for 25 cents in Valley Stream. So people go to Walmart for the experience. That's why Walmart is successful. And even with AI, Walmart is already always going to be one of the biggest brick and mortar businesses around. Don't look like they're going anywhere. Walmart is looking to even open up more Walmarts. They're not shutting Walmarts down because of the ability to order online. People like going to Walmart. Again, Walmart experience. That's why it makes total sense that Bernie Sanders is calling for them to move that minimum wage to $15 an hour. Now, if, like the CEO said, it should be done on cost of living, so $15 should be the minimum. If the cost of living is higher, it should be higher than $15 an hour. It should not be lower. So take that philosophy that you got, financial sector, turn it sideways and stick it up your behind, way up there. $15 is a low ball. There's nothing you can tell me that Walmart, and I think you're afraid that other companies that you may represent in your portfolio business, you trying to defend them, not if they're in profit margin. Don't give me about the minimum wage have been increased and we're living in good time. No, most people are not working. A lot of people are not reporting that they're not working. They're probably hustling on the side to take care of the family. So it's not going to be in your jobs report. But if they were to participate in that particular system, the rate of unemployment will be higher. It's not lower. But people ain't, and those guys working 2 jobs. So of course it's gonna seem like more people gonna have more jobs. No, one person is working 2-3 jobs. Why? Because the jobs are not paying what they should be paying. Minimum wage have not gone up with the cost of living, and it should have been. Minimum wage have not gone up with the profit margin of corporation, and it should have been, and that has to stop. And that's why, in this case, I applaud Bernie Sanders for it, and I support him in pushing those bills. And if you don't like it, you can go somewhere. I support him in that. Like I said, some people are just great legislators. They may be great presidents, but you'd be better off being a legislator. Elizabeth Warren, better legislator. I don't see Elizabeth Warren as a president. Some people just are good at legislating. And here's 3 things I can see about Bernie Sanders. He ain't afraid to get outside of just talking in Capitol Hill to go and get in their face to face. He's not afraid of that. Number 2, he's not afraid to go out there and campaign and rally for people who's going to help him accomplish his platform. And that platform does say $15 minimum wage. So if you're running for office and you're running on a platform similar to his, that's what he wants. Because if he do become president, he can easily get these things passed into law because he's putting more people like him. He duplicated himself in Congress. That's the reason why you got Justice Democrat. That's the reason why you got our revolution, because he's trying to duplicate himself, or they're trying to duplicate little mini Bernie Sanders. His Republicans call them Bernie minions. But that's what it takes to get things done. Here's the vision. I'm giving you the vision. I'm passing it on to you. I need you to run with the vision with me. And that's how you get people in the office, and that's how you pass legislation. Obama didn't do that. He had Obama for America. He could have did the same thing, went and got little people who would catch his vision and help those people get in the office. So we could have had no cost education. We could have had Medicare for all, single payer. We could have had all that, but he didn't. So anyway, I'm done with this. We all should get in front of the faces of major corporations and make demands. If you feel like you're alone on this, and you'll probably be the Lone Ranger on this issue, you need to get a union to back you up. I'm currently, as YouTubers, we need a union. We're content creators, and there is no content creator union, and why should we create one? We need to go to Communication Workers CWA and see if they can be our union and help us battle against places like YouTube. I can't do it alone. We all talking about the problem. We need to get with CWU to get that thing done. And I may talk about that on an upcoming show and have some people on here where we can just talk about that. Because YouTube is robbing us blind. They're not paying us what we're worth. It takes time to do this. It's not easy. And the research we have to do to get it done, it's not easy. And you might want to do it. And I want you to do it. And you should be able to get paid a decent, for each view and each click. But anyway, I'm done. Hats off to Bernie Sanders on this situation. I support him in this. All right. But here's another, I got to say this. The same way Bernie Sanders, the same strategy that he is employing to get things done concerning his platform, it's the same thing my community has to employ to get things done for us. We have to get in the face of the people who don't want to give us what we want. We have to call them out. We have to shame them. And then we have to apply political pressure. Like, no, I'm not voting for you no matter what you say, no matter what you have to offer. If you can't give us this, forget our vote. You have to give political pressure and high posture and not budge. And if need be, you're going to have to put politicians in office that have your vision, that can carry the baton that you have. And it has to be done now. I'm Robert Brown with The Rob Report. I'll holler at you later. Peace. Hey, thank you for watching that episode of The Rob Report. Before you go now, I need you to do two things for me. First thing, I want you to like the video if you liked it. Second thing, I want you to share it all across social media. And if you have not subscribed, please make sure you hit the subscribe button right now. Stop and do it. As Jimmy Dore says sometimes, you think you're subscribed, or you go check and find out you're not subscribed. So make sure you check that you're subscribed and hit the notification bell. That'll let you know when I put a new content out. I'm not a fan of Super Chat, so if you plan on giving to the efforts of Bob TV, make sure you do that through Bob TV NYC at paypal.me. Anybody who want to have free access to my Patreon channel, I'm trying to save you money on your cable bill. I ran into a program that I think everybody need, everybody can afford, and everybody should have, and that link is down there below. 5,000 plus channel, best sports package, and the best premium TV and even international channels, and you can access this all over the world. Go ahead and check that out, get your free trial, and if you decide to support, become members of those two services, we'll go ahead and give you full access to the Patreon channel, and there's no cost to it. So my name is Robert Brown with The Rob Report. Thank you for watching. I'll holler at you later. Peace.